What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show where we bring together some of the best content creators from the blockchain and NFT gaming space, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name is Adam, and I'll be your host today. But more importantly, we got a great show for you guys today and a great group of guests. We're also back after kind of a bit of a hiatus for many of us. I'm glad to see all you guys here. We got another new face on the channel today. Some of you guys in the audience might recognize him also. But just to introduce you guys again to everyone, CryptoStache, man, how you doing today?
Doing it, ready. Metaverse Mondays. That's what we do. We love doing it. I love talking about the Metaverse with you guys. It's like my most fun day. Except for Fridays are good too. Deezy, I'm sorry. Fridays are great. I like Fridays too.
we got Cagyjan in the house, man. Back juicing it up in the NFT world. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I missed this a lot. And yeah, I'm looking forward to all the conversations. And now Deezy, new friend right here, new person that I didn't know. Now I know him. So it's kind of cool to meet new people. Let's go.
We and as you said, we have a new face to the Around the Metaverse show, but someone who's probably used to this format a little bit, host and producer over at our friend channel, BitBoy Crypto. Deezy, man, how you doing?
Doing well, like Caggy said, you know, good to meet new people. I'm reeling from the fact that it's not Cagyjan, but repping Pluto Alliance and repping Bitcoin, man.
Let's go.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And last but certainly not least, Zueljin, our good friend, man. Happy to have you back on the show. How are you today?
It's always good to be here, man. I'm doing well. I missed you guys last week. I was set. I was the one ready for the show, and everybody was like, I'm gonna just be by myself again. Then.
You know, sometimes life comes at you real quick, man, and you gotta cancel the show. But
I forgive y'all. Y'all still owe me back pay for last week's episode because I still.
all right.
He's still legit for that one.
We'll have our people contact your people. All right, we'll have our people contact your people.
Can I pay you in 1,000 shitcoins, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Good morning. Shitcoin season. Bring them on, buddy.
All right. I got tons I can load up you. They'll never be used for anything.
Stache. We know that's not true.
Shiba, maybe something like.
Stache has the least shitcoins. He's the inverse shitcoin trader.
I am the inverse shitcoin. I try.
But man, we got a great show for you guys. We got a lot of news since we didn't have the show last week to kind of catch up on. Some big things. But before we jump into it, all you guys watching out there, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us spread the message that we're all trying to get out there, that NFTs and the Metaverse are the future. You know, if they don't know now, they will eventually, and that's what we're gonna show them today, man. So smash that like button, and we're gonna jump right into it. Today we are talking about Axie and Sky Mavis making some big infrastructural changes that could honestly bring them back into the spotlight. If some of you may have seen them or been thinking that they haven't been working on anything behind the scenes. We have some news coming out of the Wax blockchain world, or not news so much as just an explosion of the ecosystem, kind of ripping everyone's face off with massive green candles the past couple of days. And then last, we're going to be talking about a little bit of Bored Ape Mania that seems to be happening, and it might be a signal to be the catalyst that kind of kicks off this next NFT bull run, coming out of a bit of a bear market that we've been in, some might say. But let's jump into it, man. The first topic today, talking about Axie is evolving, the Ronin Dex and the Ronin token. Some might say Axie has kind of been falling behind to other play-to-earn games like Splinterlands, for example. I know there's been a bit of a battle there in terms of like user engagement and daily active wallets and things like that. But Axie just came out of nowhere the other day talking about or introducing the Katana Dex, the Ronin Dex, and the Ronin token. So now you actually have a way on the Ronin blockchain to exchange your SLP or AXS for things like wrapped ETH or USDC, whereas before you'd probably have to spend like, I mean, I don't know what Ethereum gas fees are right now, but a lot to bring that back over to Ethereum and cash out. You could go to Binance, but we're not going to get into that. I got a couple of questions for you guys on what you think, man. And we're going to start with our resident paid Axie shill here, Mr. Cagyjan, back in action. I want to hear your opinion, man, because you've been promoting this quite a bit on your channel. How do you think that the introduction of Ronin Dex and the Ronin token is going to change Axie Infinity? Do you think it's going to bring it back into the spotlight here?
I mean, actually, to be honest, never left the spotlight. That's the thing. It did go through the last few months, you know, people like, you know, taking shots at Axie, myself too. Hello, you know, I took shots, and I'm an investor in Axie. So I took shots because you got to be objective, right? You have to be objective. If things are not going well, you kind of say it. Now, there's a lot of people that were like super negative. Instead of being like, you know, putting the message out there of what's bad, they would just add on to the negativity or whatever. But, you know, I was objective and I didn't like what I was seeing. But I always knew that the DEX was coming. I knew that the running blockchain was being built. But, you know, they showed that they are building behind the scenes, and they're going to stick to their plan. Their plan is to build without saying too much. And then they're just going to release the bomb every single time. And that allows them to stay ahead of the game, because a lot of people are looking at them, right? So if they start saying, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing that, then people start copying, right? And since they're ahead of the game in many things, they kind of just, you know, they rather keep it on the low. So I respect that. And I also criticize that the fact that they weren't like saying too much and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be good for the ecosystem. I mean, people can trade now. People can trade. People that don't have a lot of money. You might have 100 SLP, and now you can exchange it for a little bit of ETH, whether that's $100, $200, $50. You couldn't do that in the Ethereum network. So this is ultimately good, but we still need more tokens in the future to trade, right? The SLP is still a one-trick economy, no matter what. So once they introduce more tokens, wood, stone, all of that, and then you can, you know, exchange value between all those tokens, I think the economy is going to flourish even more. So that's how I see it. Yeah,
I could agree with you, man. You know, like you said, they've been kind of in the background, just working, and as a leader, you know, they have the right to do that. But I'm curious too, what some of your guys' opinions are on the actual Ronin token that people are starting to farm. Stache, do you think that, or actually, I know a few of us are farming it as well currently, including ourselves. But Stache, are you anticipating them incorporating this into Axie at all? I know it's supposed to like be a gas token for the DEX, but do you see this being incorporated into the game in any way, or things like that?
Excuse me, sir. I think it is the Ron token. The Ron token.
Ron token.
when I first saw that name, I mean, it makes sense to say it's the Ronin token because it's Ronin Network. But yeah. I believe it's Ron. And like, what makes me happy about that is like, I don't know. Did you guys ever see that old school movie, Captain Ron? Anybody ever watch Captain Ron?
It might be beyond my, yeah. I'm young, man. I don't know.
Each one of you bastards need to go watch that movie, man. I don't know what's going on. Zueljin, I'm disappointed in you, man. You're the other old man on the channel.
I've seen it.
Watch TV, dude.
It's good.
I don't.
Anyways, so you know, do I think that it's no? I think that it's going to stay as a platform token, and I think that's okay. You know, I don't think that they need to try and find a way to incorporate it into the game. You know, work with the token that you have already right now, and the two token kind of, you know, system that works. That can, we know that a two token system like this can work. It's just about having diverse, you know, ways to earn it, and you know, adding onto the economy, like Cagyjan was saying. When there's more things to do with it, and more ways to burn it, and more ways to use it, that's going to really expand things. But I do think that this DEX, the Catan DEX they launched, and this token with it, you know, but the DEX more than the token, I think really does help flesh out this ecosystem to really give them a piece that they were missing a little bit, you know, something that I really felt like the game was missing, that we see in some other games that have, you know, dual token systems like this, that are, you know, a lot more fluid with what you can do with these tokens and how you cash out, you know, like, and obviously Ethereum's a little bit more particularly hard to do some of those things on. Like, you know, I'll just say in particular, Splinterlands has a pretty good system. You know, how you can earn tokens, how it's easy to cash out. They have a decentralized exchange that works with this, and tons of other tokens on Hives like that, and then being able to seamlessly move it over to things like Wax and whatnot. But I think that's something that actually really needed, and that is going to be a huge stepping stone for them to launch the future stuff with Lunacia and gameplay and more metaverse features. Because if you don't have these features right now, you know, ready to go, the rails ready to rock, then you're not going to be able to make and generate as much money, period, when that time comes. So,
yeah, I agree, man. And you bring up a good point in terms of the metaverse they're kind of creating, and I know we want to focus more. Everyone's starting to focus more on sort of the concept of the metaverse. Thankfully, we've been streaming it
here first. We talked about metaverses before anybody did.
Preaching it from the highs for years now, or at least Stache has, and many others, or not too many others, but Stache and a few others have been talking about it for years now, and everyone's jumping on the train. But Deezy, I want to hear from you, man. Like, what other do you anticipate, or do you see Sky Mavis, the company behind Axie Infinity, starting to bring out other games potentially too, now that they have this, you know, kind of a more established blockchain infrastructure? Do you think that might be a possibility, and what do you think they might come out with? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they? They're definitely going to roll out with other games. Now, however long that takes, you know, remains to be seen. It could be a next year thing, 2 years thing, next bull run type of thing. But I mean, I'm looking at some of the stuff they have going on. You know, they have the Ronin mobile wallet. Why not incorporate, you know, different coins, different ecosystems, you know, onboard as many people? And I mean, look at it like EA, they don't stop with one game. You know, all these gaming industries or companies, they're going to make as many games as possible. It's a resource issue. So, you know, what does their devs look like? I'd love to work there if I was a video game dev. Would you rather work at some, you know, rinky-dink company or Axie Infinity? You're definitely going to jump over to Axie Infinity. One thing I would be concerned about, I wouldn't say concerned, but, you know, the Ron, I like Ron. In chat, let us know. Are you team Ron or are you team Roan?
It better be Ron.
Spell out Roan. You gotta be Ron.
So,
you gotta be Ron. But let us know in the chat if you're team Ron or team Ron.
So put one in chat. Put one in chat if you're team Ron, and put a 2 in chat if you're team Roan. Roan token. If it's Roan token, put 2. Ron, put 1. All right.
But as far as adding other games, to me, this is gamifying it. You know, I love DeFi. And I was looking at, you know, when you sent me the topics a couple hours ago, I was looking into this, and, you know, I'm looking at their wallet, I'm looking at the ecosystem. And one thing I'm worried about is, you know, the buying pressure for Ron. I don't know if there's really going to be adequate buying pressure to equal the dumping that's going to be coming from these whales. But to me, this is almost a game. So this is a game that would get me involved, because I don't really have an interest in buying or playing Axie Infinity. But to me, this is a game. And if they were to get a new game, that's when I would be like, okay, now this is a game I'm jumping in on the ground level. Yeah. Now I'm going to jump into this gaming ecosystem. So yeah, as far as what would those games look like? I mean, I don't know. You're going to have a farming simulator. It's going to be the basic games, but a Pokemon clone, a farming thing, the jeweled thing that looks like Tetris but sideways, or you know, something like that.
Axes, you're shooting little axes at jewels and shit.
Or like Angry Birds with axes.
The Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be good. I can see little axes flying through the air.
But yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. And I think this actually presents really good opportunity, not just for like the people playing Axie Infinity, but also there's a giant scholarship economy out there that like this presents a new opportunity for scholar managers out there to repurpose maybe some of the like the income that they're getting from their scholarships, right? So we have our scholarship program with CryptoStache Media here, and we weren't necessarily going into breeding just because we weren't sure that it was cost justified with the price of AXS, and this actually gives us another opportunity to put those funds to work. And I like what you're saying, Deezy. It is kind of like a game because once you start to like do the math a little bit, and do the numbers, it gets to fun thinking about, you know, how many days is it going to take for me to get this much Ron token.
It's Ron.
It's Ron.
Yeah, Ron
chat
token.
said, chat. I think chat is going with Ron. We see a lot of twos, but mostly ones. Right. I think it was mostly ones. So I think Ron token it is. Everyone else you can hate on us.
Sky Mavis, pay attention. We're TM Ron token. We're taking it from you guys.
Did you say chat's always right?
Yeah, they're always right.
Yeah, they're always right.
Chat's always right, man.
Chat.
Y'all all crazy.
It's a whole thing. Like the customer's always right. Chat's always right, man.
No.
If I ask them a question and chat overwhelmingly says it's one thing, then they're right.
No.
If you think the chat is always right out there, go ahead and smash that like button and
Yes.
show it to us. And show it to us.
Smash that
was a
like if you
good
think
one.
you're always right. If you think
That's a
you're
good
always
one.
right out in
I like
chat,
that one.
smash the like.
Yeah, man. Finally, last but not least, Zueljin, I want to hear from you, man. I'm talking about the scholarship programs a bit. Do you think that this new kind of infrastructural change is going to benefit the price of SLP maybe, and you know, kind of help the scholarship economy get back on its feet? Because I know there are some scholars out there who are struggling with the changes that Axie's been making to like the meta, I guess you could say.
I don't really know if it's going to affect the price of SLP, but it's definitely going to add value in total to the ecosystem. everybody right now that is ever kind of thought about getting into scholarships or being a scholar or anything like that, they all ask the same question when they start to get in, like, why the hell doesn't this place have a DEX? This on chain, like there was always a big missed opportunity. And honestly, in order to do everything, SLP right now, anybody that got into Axie started getting SLP, but they had to bring their ETH in, just like most chains. But once you had it in, they incentivized you to take it out if you wanted to do anything at all with it, because there's nothing to do with it except cash it out, right? So like now that they still don't have a burn mechanism, which we all talked about, that it's very important, but being able to keep the tokens on the network, I think is fundamentally very, very important. So I think that's a huge win in their book. It's definitely going to stabilize some stuff.
But they did update the white paper, which is something that they said for a long time, since 2018, 19, there's articles, but they never actually came out and said, look, we're going to have a burning mechanisms for Axies. Now is in the white paper. So that's very, very good. Now it's like, it's a certainty, right? So you burn this Axie to get resources. So now you're going to need a population. If you got 2 million players times 3, at least minimum to play Axie, you're going to need at least 10 mil, right? 10, 12 mil Axies. And then on top of that, people are just going to breed Axies to get resources that you might not be able to get within the land gameplay. So now we're going to see a lot of burning, right? So in the future, of course.
I know we literally come up with a good idea for them to implement every time we talk about them. I think I have another one. So this might be controversial, but like, you know how they have programmatically, like they program some of the tokens to whenever you trade them, there's like a fee associated with trading the token. Have a burn fee on SLP. So whenever you trade it on Katana, some of the supply gets burned on your trade.
Well, no, you incentivize people to only use Katana by not having the tax or the burn fee on that DEX. But anywhere trade anywhere else, that's when there's a fee. So then you push everybody to use it on your DEX. And I mean that you can use those types of mechanisms to incentivize people to use your rails, right? Instead of using somebody else's, rails, we'll say, right?
Yeah, and talking about another token that some people might be looking to trade out of just purely on price action, not for any fundamental reason. Let's go to our next topic here, talking about Waxman, the king of NFTs. The king of it, I mean, self-proclaimed, but they're putting their money where their mouth is, right now at least. So last week, just to give you viewers out there a little heads up, if you haven't seen the charts or wondering why Wax is just absolutely ripping right now, it's known as the Worldwide Asset Exchange, Wax, WAX, rose to the second place in NFT sale volume amongst all the layer ones. And Wax actually right now accounts for more than 15 million transactions per day, surpassing Ethereum in the process. So there's some big things happening out there in the ecosystem, an entire play to earn economy with several functioning games. And some DeFi functionality that's finally coming. And even finally coming, and a few metaverses that are popping up. But I want to ask you, Stache, as someone who's been preaching about Wax for years now, why do you think it took so long for people to start noticing Wax?
So first, before I get into that, I just want to say a big shout out to all my Pluto is a Planet friends watching. We got Deezy in the house, and I know we got some Pluto is a Planet friends watching today. But I just want to let you guys know, I love you. Pluto is not a planet. I'm sticking by it. Damn it! I'm never changing. I do love the aliens. I love the whole thing though. But yeah, I mean, with Wax, man, I think that it has been undervalued for so incredibly long. Ethereum has really taken the spotlight. Being the originator. It's been a #1 coin for a very long time, or top 10 coin, not #1, but top 10, top 2. It's always been #2 for a very long time. That's a hard thing to surpass, and I've been with the Wax team and investing in Wax since the beginning, and to kind of see how much they've grown over the last couple of years. I've been out there preaching and making tutorials, creating NFTs on Wax, making all kinds of great friends and partnerships, and the amount of art and projects that are on Wax are tenfold that on Ethereum. because it's easy to do. It's much easier to do all the really cool, fun things on Wax than it is to do them on Ethereum. You have to have a programmer. Someone's going to, program a contract for you to do, generative NFTs and all these things. And it's been very one-dimensional, I think, on Ethereum. But the functions of Wax allow people to be a lot more creative. And then with that creativity, we see a lot more cross-pollination, right? Projects working together. Doing mashups like we're seeing with like Pluto Alliance, where they're kind of going cross chain, but we see a lot of that within the Wax industry. So I mean, I think that people are really just starting to wake up to what Wax is doing. The amount of transactions on Wax has surpassed Ethereum a long time ago. It doesn't have as high dollar NFTs as we've seen on Ethereum, things like CryptoPunks and Bored Apes, where they've shot up to millions of dollars in one transaction. We're seeing that happening in a lot of small transactions on Wax, so that's kind of the difference there, because you can do, cheaper, smaller, collections there. You can sell an NFT for $1. You could sell an NFT for 50 cents, and you're not really, you're not having to worry about these transaction fees, right? So I think that that's one of the big advantages, is because there's a lower barrier to entry than there is to most Ethereum projects, in particular right now with gas fees. You can't get into a project unless you're going to be paying $80 in gas fees, so it makes it really cost prohibitive to a lot of people just in general, for how much money they have. But then also from like just an ethical standpoint, like I hate paying those fees, man. That's one of the reasons why I love crypto. I don't want to be paying bank fees, man, where they're charging me $20 a month to hold my money. Well, I mean, it's not, Ethereum's not really doing the same thing, but the fees are there. So it definitely cuts into your bottom line and to the overall like magic, I would say, and excitement. And Wax still delivers on that.
I was gonna say, man,
I fucking hate it, man.
Not only do you need a programmer on Ethereum, but you need big old money bags. Like I was about to say, man, think about in 10 years, like the people paying $300 for a gas fee in Ethereum right now. Like think about how much money that's going to be when Ethereum's worth $10,000, when Ethereum's worth $20,000. Like,
dude, it's gonna be bad. Like you look back, you're like, dang it!
I could have been a billionaire. Like I'm not a billionaire
all those
today.
Gas fees I spent on those stupid
like
JPEGs. Damn it!
But yeah, man,
it's true, yo. It's to the point to where if I have to make a Uniswap transaction, if it's not over $1,000, I won't even consider it, because the percentage just outweighs it.
Yeah.
Especially like you can't speculate on tokens, especially not unless it's available on a centralized exchange and you can pull it off of it. Like I'll do some Uniswap tokens on KuCoin first. If I have to get them off out of Uniswap later, if I want them in my wallet to do staking or whatever, I could do that. But just to swap in and out to speculate on a token, nope.
Well, speaking of KuCoin, you still have like the old Wax price to ship out Wax. So like Wax, you send it for pennies. KuCoin's charging 40 Wax.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
That was cool 2 months ago. Hey, it's up, man. You got to change that.
Tell you how to do it.
You need to get your
pull it out to BSC, swap that to TLM, alien world school route, teleport it over to Wax. And then swap it on Alcor, baby.
Hop.
Shit.
Yeah.
We got the flow, the Wax flow.
Wax DeFi, man. Wax DeFi is making it so no longer will you want to be sending Wax from KuCoin to Wax, but you'll be sending.
What is it?
You'll be sending Wax. You haven't heard of Blue DAC, man? I mean, I guess DeFi is part of the metaverse, but dude, there's so Corey from Uplift World, which is one of the metaverses,
which is like one of the Uplift World is like one of the premier metaverses in the Wax ecosystem, man, and they've been crushing it. Like I said, another project just flying completely under the radar, man, and what they've been doing, it's crazy to see how little attention they've been getting. And I have a sweet castle there, not to like show my own castle, but
we gotta do some content on Uplift soon. But yeah, so the founder of Uplift, Corey, and mBlue, another big kind of proponent of the Wax ecosystem. And I will say this to you guys watching out there who maybe haven't experienced Wax. One thing comparative to other layer ones, man, like the community in Wax is one of the most like the most accepting and friendly in all of the NFT space, I have to say, at least. Like there's everyone's got their little tussles in our industry. Everyone likes to kind of preach about what their favorite is. But I'm telling you, man, everyone in Wax is on the same page. Including Corey and mBlue, the founders of now Blue DAC, the newest DeFi project on Wax. And you can check them out if you go to the Atomic Market on there. There's memberships to get into the Blue DAC, and I won't I'll spare some of the heavy details for you guys, but just me with my tiny small bags, I have a small bag stake there, and I'm getting like $50 a day in DeFi yield, which for me is great passive income, you know. And that's where you want to be, Deezy, is where you want to be getting $50 out of the Wax ecosystem and sending it to KuCoin. I haven't sent a Wax transaction.
I have a mixed bag with my Wax experience, you know, because, you know, I was heavy in Wax first. You know,
we were talking about Our Planet, man.
We dropped all the Wax stuff. So yeah, I was heavy in Our Planet, and I just stayed as that whole thing cratered, and just kept reinvesting. And yeah, I was making, you know, comparable money, just reinvesting in these NFTs. And as Wax goes up, you know, my NFT, the dollar amount, yeah, sure, maybe it goes up 10%. But when Wax went up 200%, that means I just lost, like, you know, like 95% of my Wax. So it's just like, it's heartbreaking, you know. So it's like I'm happy that my little Wax has gone up, but my Wax NFTs have lost Wax. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, you know, both sides. But a Blue DAC. That's what you're
BLUDAC. So capital BLU, capital D, capital A.
Yeah, maybe I'll move some of my Our Planet assets around, and, you know, maybe I'll jump in.
Listen to this, man. All this DeFi platform is basically taking all of the tokens from the Wax ecosystem. So I don't know if you're still staking on Our Planet or not, but if you have a big bag of Aether, you can literally put that into the DeFi on there, because they have a pool for that. And you can start making money on
sitting on millions of Aether. I'm probably not as much as, you know, Stache or Zueljin here, but they're probably like, you know, tens of millions or hundreds of millions.
I think I've got like maybe 80 or 90 million.
Almost 100 million.
Hodl, baby, hodl.
Hey, they had some updates with their white paper recently, which I haven't read yet, so I can't disclose the details to you guys. But if you're an Our Planet fan, check them out. I think they recently put some news out about their white paper. Even though the token price went down more.
real quick, I want to hear some thoughts on some of it, because, you know, getting back to kind of one of the things about like Metaverse is kind of coming to Wax. You know, I think Uplift has done a pretty cool job, and then Immersys is another one that's kind of there, and they have some cool features of being able to like bring your NFTs into the Metaverse with you, as they're kind of like hanging out with you, and they kind of become their own little characters in there, and it's like an automatic thing. You know, what you know, for you guys that have experience on Wax, you know, do you think that Wax could be like that next mecca for metaverses because of the, you know, benefits of really low transactions, easy to get things going, etc., etc.?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it's almost more likely it'd be Wax than Ethereum, you know, unless some really good layer 2 solutions come out. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about an RPG. We were shooting NFT update today, and it was an RPG, and I just started wrapping my head around that, an RPG versus an Axie Infinity or something like that, or, you know, even an Alien Worlds, where it's like, okay, you buy your mining, you know, rig, and then you just like turn it on, you know, then you're just collecting. But with an RPG, you got like potions and emeralds and elixirs and arrows and throwing stars and sticks and wood and rocks. And I mean, in an RPG, you can have 700 items. And to transact with that, you would need something like Wax versus, you know, an Ethereum, just in my opinion.
No, absolutely. You're right. That's exactly what kind of running is doing, but Wax already has that, right? Like if you go to Wax, it's kind of for you already there. So I mean, definitely Wax. I think we're so freaking early. That's the thing. Like all the solutions are gonna have so many games. I see this as you got Ubisoft, you got EA Games. These are like they have their own ecosystem. So we're gonna see a whole bunch of game on Wax, on Running, on maybe on Phantasma Chain, maybe on Solana, everywhere. There's at least 5-6 million games in the world. I mean, at least minimum that you can account for. I mean, they're all going to need a solution, and some of them are going to choose different solutions for different reasons. Yeah. So they're all going to blow up at the end of the day. That's how I see it.
Well, and then, you know, someone over in chat's mentioning like layer 2s for Ethereum, like Polygon, or my favorite one, which is Immutable X. You know, I think that they're doing some really great. I mean, Immutable is crushing it, man. I've been, you know, working with I've been working with them for a long time now. I knew the tracks that they were laying, and I was like, I know they're taking a lot longer than other people, but their stuff is top quality. And so there's definitely that option there for Ethereum too. I mean, it still does require you to make a hop. You know, where it's hard to jump directly into it. You got to pay a fee still to get your stuff over there, and then once it's there, it's great. But you know, I think native stuff is coming there, and I think that's really big too.
A lot of native stuff, which is crazy. People are telling me, bro, why don't you talk about Immutable? I'm like, well, there's nothing yet that I can say like, oh, this is like, holy shit, I want to get into this. But, you know, if you're into NFTs and you're trying to, you know, speculate a little bit, there's a lot of projects coming out.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, and that's just why, you know, and with Wax in general, you know, and Zueljin knows this too, because that's kind of where he kind of came into this ecosystem, is that I feel like it's just so underrated and there's so much going on there, you know, with gaming and NFTs. And I do think that it's really prime for Metaverse stuff. But I mean, like, what do you think, Zueljin? I mean,
it's easy, man. Like, it's going to allow people to get in. That's the biggest thing. It's so easy to get into. That's why I started. My buddy, a good friend of mine, reached out to me a little while back. He was like, what is all this NFT stuff and where do I start? And I just showed him how to mine in alien worlds. And you understand a lot of the stuff out there. It's a very, very simple concept. But once you see you can create value out of nothing or nearly nothing and start building that, you don't have to talk to your wife about investing in crypto. You could start 1 penny at a time, you know? And if you speculate a little bit and you start playing around with the market, it teaches you some big fundamentals. I learned on Wax, and then I went into the Ethereum market and I made a lot of money in Ethereum. But there's no way I could have did that without learning what I had learned from all of the stuff that I learned in Wax.
I remember talking to you at the beginning.
It trained.
You were like, literally
trained. You know, and then
the
seeing the staking mechanics and being able to use the DEX, like Alcor was just a very, very easy way for me to swap TLM to Wax and then buy into other stuff. Then I bought a whole lot of stuff in our planet that yielded me tokens. And I started learning about a bunch of DeFi mechanics because of the liquidity pools. And then you go into these other chains with bigger dollar figures and stuff. And all of a sudden you have a comfort level and you don't get burned, you know? You do you start realizing what gas costs too.
Yeah, you're like, but there's this gas fee. What is this you speak of?
Right. I went into Binance Smart Chain and it was like my next stepping stone or whatever. Yeah. But I had a really big fundamental grasp on a lot of the concepts that if you went just straight from not ever investing in crypto to buying Ethereum and trying to trade NFTs and swap tokens on Ethereum, you're much more likely to lose a lot of money, you know. So than being able to start very, very small with Wax. And then some of the projects that they have too are very, very interesting, just the way they do things. You don't have a whole lot of conventional games on it, but you do have a lot of earning mechanisms. And once you learn a little bit about how to do that, you know, I tried Immersus or whatever you had just said the other day, and I didn't find that it was very, very appealing to me. But I tried it, and then I got out of it for like exactly what I paid for it almost. Like I bought a tool, I went to use it, I harvested some resources, I saw how the game worked. It wasn't really my thing. I just sold the tool immediately after that, back on the market. It was just in and out. So being able to do that is really, really nice. If that would have been Ethereum, it would have costed you a lot of money.
Right, those fees to buy it in the first and then resell it, you know, and then that's what we're talking about here as being one of the best parts of NFTs and blockchain powering the next generation of games, is being able to get into it, enjoy it, even if that's only for an hour, and then get right back out, you know, and you're still getting value out of that, versus now you buy the game, you spend some money on some skins or something, you know, if you don't like it after a week, it's not like they're going to refund your money for those skins, man. You're out, you know, that's it. You know, more money.
Yeah, imagine too, like Wax, even today, kind of, I mean, it's not a big barrier to entry, but when Coinbase, you know what I mean, when US regulated exchange, right? Like US users still have to go through the kind of weird credit card process they have on the Wax Cloud wallet, or KuCoin.
No, well, you can get Wax on Bittrex. Bittrex Bittrex is a US regulated exchange. It's a great exchange. Anyone asked me that, I was like, say, you know, if you can't use Binance and you don't want to use KuCoin because of the fees, I mean, or some of the Wax Cloud wallet things, Simplex, whatever. Bittrex is a great U.S. exchange, regulated, and you can easily get Wax there, man. So, and I think more places are going to have Wax.
Be a little bit different. Be careful because the cost can be a little bit different. Just because there's not a fee attached to it doesn't mean it doesn't cost you anything. Just evaluate how much money that you're using for it or whatever. But it's fiat ramp. You slide your credit card, you get Wax out. You know, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, Bittrex works pretty good.
But yeah, man, Wax is primed and ready to go in terms of the next big blockchain, right, for NFTs. I mean, it just hit the top 100 in terms of market cap for coins. And I mean, people are moon boy targets here. I don't know, but are talking about $10 Wax, $10 Wax, maybe. I don't know.
I want to see that, man, because my wax bags have been packed for years already, and they're fat.
Bro, I just checked a Bitrex. I have 2,900 wax that I sent like 5 months ago.
That's awesome.
It wasn't populating. It wouldn't populate.
Nice,
so I sent them a message. Oh, let's go, baby!
Come up. All right.
Those are the best. That's like finding a $100 bill in your wallet, right?
But no. It's like
Stache. He brought up Bitrex. Tip him.
It's like losing $100. It's like losing $100 in your pocket, and then when you find it, there's $500 now.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Because hey, well, it was only 30 cents 5 months ago, and now it's 80 or something. It's 70 cents.
After you put it in the washer, and then you're like, holy shit! Oh fuck!
That's really laundering money right there.
Well,
a figure of speech sort of.
I don't think it can get back to the $10 thing though. I don't think it can hit 10 because there's that huge psychological barrier between $2 and $10. Like some can go to 2, some might deserve to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but there's just that psychological barrier around $2, $3, man. $5, $6 is just a dead zone for coins.
I feel I think we could see wax easily hit $1 and then maybe go into $1.50, $2. But I'm kind of right there with you, Deezy. I think that $10 would be a target that's a little bit too high, for that coin. Even though, like I said, the ecosystem is doing good and there's a lot there to happen. But you're right, a lot of psychological.
And people are bringing up his $2.77 last bull run. If I'm not mistaken, there's more in circulation now. So it'd be more difficult. It's an XRP situation. Like the market cap's bigger, but the coin is cheaper.
Yeah, they had something weird with their ICO, right, or something like that, where like the price rocketed for some weird supply reason. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see where we get.
Yep. I want to be wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, wax has gone through a lot of changes, is what it comes down to in comparison to like Ethereum's journey. Like Ethereum's changed as well, but they've like really revamped wax over the course of a couple of years. From where it started to where it is now. Massive changes with the token.
By the way, you're playing tomorrow for Huddle God Wax on Wax. Yeah. So we're gonna be together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if you guys don't know, Huddle God is a game on Wax. It is a game. It's like I wouldn't say battle royale, but it's like
battle royale. It's a battle
royale game. Yeah, it's
fantasy battle royale.
It's like a medieval Fortnite kind of. That's almost the best way to say it. So like bows, arrows, swords versus kind of like guns, pew pews.
Or like what's that, Smite? It's kind of like Smite a little bit, right?
A spell break, yeah.
Or spell break, yeah.
It's spell break, yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
But yeah, good luck to the both of you in the tournament tomorrow. But let's move on to our last topic here. It's going to be a bit of a quicker one, but there's also a little bit of rumbling happening in the NFT PFP space. Some volume returning to OpenSea after a little bit of a lull in sort of trading action, and one of the bigger collections that's starting to get talked about on Twitter again pretty frequently are the Bored Apes, more specifically the Mutant Apes sort of Series 2 collection off of Bored Apes. And I want to hear your guys' opinions on just the collection as a whole, man, because they've been kind of coming after CryptoPunks, let's say, as like the OG, like top market cap PFP for the future. And I'm curious, man, Zueljin, what do you think? Do you think Bored Apes will ever pass like CryptoPunks, for example, in market cap?
No, I think Kongs are going to eat them both eventually.
Cyber Kongs? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, they just
I'm not
like, maybe not in total value as far as that's concerned, but Bored Ape, there's a lot of stuff that I think there's such a big name that they're kind of holding back on innovation a little bit. Kongs are killing it, man. Kongs are just like Kongs are doing everything right now. Genesis Kongs are probably one of the most valuable assets on the market right now. Like period.
The planet.
I haven't looked at the prices lately because I can't speculate on these things. But honestly, they have a lot more. They have a lot more that's happening.
Well, I mean, we just saw right now with the Bored Apes a new band created by Snoop Dogg Agent and and Jimmy Eath and a few other people, and I interviewed them just recently, and it was kind of like, holy crap, like a band of NFTs. I mean, that's insane. Imagine the possibilities in the future. And they signed a deal with the UMG, right? Like Universal Music Group. That's insane. That's insane. It's a first NFT like verified band. And now you can in the future change the artist behind this Bored Apes.
I
Right?
mean, I like the concept, man, but I think it's a little gimmicky. I mean, I like that.
I think it's gonna blow up.
How does that add
gimmicky.
value to me as a holder?
Yeah, no, and Zueljin's right. I mean, like when it comes to like adding value, you know, I think that both CryptoPunks and Bored Apes haven't really done jack shit to really do that. You know, yeah, maybe the Bored Apes have thrown some cool parties. CryptoPunks hasn't done jack shit. You know, and neither has Lava Labs done anything with any of those their NFT collections. So not just CryptoPunks, but everything else they've done with like Meebits and like that. So
yeah.
There's been very little like actual utility that is given back to holders. And I would say out of all the top tier, what I would consider blue chip type of NFTs, so yeah, I agree with Zueljin. Like CyberKongs has done a really great job of, you know, creating value, you know, interacting with the community, giving things, you know, a value back, and I really think that's the future of NFTs, and I think in the long run, that's really going to be, you know, one of the things that most people are going to start looking for, versus it being just like, oh, well, we're OG. Like that's great.
I feel like I want y'all to be right, and like I would mostly agree with y'all, but I felt like I got my eyes woken when I went to NFT NYC. No one cares about that stuff, and we all care about that, and we all want this to be important, but no one cares about that. No one has they all just basically want a profile pic, and they just want to have it be on their Twitter, and they want it to be verified. I mean, is Post Malone ever going to do something with the CyberKongs? No, he won't. He doesn't want to. And so I think like by the time people care, it's like, yeah, I can use it in on my Oculus, and now you know everyone knows I have a Bored Ape when I went to this thing. That's the surface level, you know, utility that they want. Am I into, you know, I'm looking at the prices. CyberKongs are cheaper than a mutant ape. And not only that, they have about a quarter of the supply. And now I'm like feeling FOMO for a CyberKong. I'm like thinking like, God, I hold a mutant ape, and I'm thinking like, God, shouldn't that just be a CyberKong? And I'd like have an extra ETH in my pocket. So now I'm starting to feel FOMO there. But yeah, the community of Bored Ape, that is the utility. And to them, that is a better utility than like, oh, I can stake it and I can do this thing. 0.5% of people in crypto do that type of stuff. And so I want y'all to be right, and I'm into these same things, but no one cares. And I mean, I know we're still early, but no one's going to care 5 years from now. That's my prediction.
All right.
Well, Deezy, let me ask you this, man. Can you confidently say, do you think that Bored Apes will be here not 5 years, but say 10 years from now?
Yeah, they'll be huge. I mean, not as I think the punks will still be the biggest, but it's a network effect that we're seeing here. So you know, Jimmy Fallon bought one, Post Malone bought one, BitBoy bought a Bored Ape today. BitBoy bought a Bored Ape today. So you know that's again, the utility is the popularity. And so because of the network effect, I mean, if you're going to buy an NFT, you're going to do the one that 99% of people know about, or you're going to do the one that 0.9% of people know about because you think it might go up. And people are going to covet the ones that 99% of people know about.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent too, and I would say that yes, people are always going to gravitate towards what's trendy, and that's just human nature, man. That does not mean that it also signifies quality. Now you're right, like the community that people who own Bored Apes kind of create amongst themselves is one of the cooler aspects of owning a Bored Ape. But when you talk about like real long-term roadmap, I would honestly rather, I mean, and that's me. Maybe I'm less superficial than other people out there, but I want the whole package. And I think you can have that whole package. I think you can have something that's cool, that is trendy, and also have something that is going to give you utility and give back to the community with actual purpose and a roadmap, versus just kind of like, oh, well, a bunch of superstars bought them, so they're super trendy, and that's the only thing, you know, like, so I think you can have both. Right now, we're really early, and I think that, you know, we're seeing that very first use case of just like, all people care about is just a cool avatar that everyone knows because it's a Bored Ape or it's a CryptoPunk. But I think that's going to get old here after a while, and you know, with so many more applications coming that we've just barely scratched the surface with, I think that easily one of these, and it may not even be CyberKongs, it may be something totally new we don't know about that happens over the next 5 years that people just go ape shit for.
Genesis shadowy supercoder is on.
You have a very good point too, Deezy. It's true that a lot of people don't know about that, but adoption rate isn't at nearly what it's going to be in 10 years. I think utility is going to become more important to the masses when it becomes much more relevant. Like right now, the utility for the people that are buying those, they don't care about utility. You're absolutely right. They just want that PFP. But
the crowd is,
when Kongs rises to that occasion and more people realize what that utility is, like, you don't need a whole lot of stuff like being able to play with it in Sandbox. That's cool and stuff for me and people like y'all. But to think about it, those big people don't care about that. But what would you say if I told you it yielded a token that made you $800 a day? And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, well, that's utility. Yeah, that's what we refer to when we talk about utility. It's not just that, you know. It's the idea of just being able to get value from it. Because like,
so you say that to us and this audience watching, you know, we got hundreds of people watching. We would all agree and say, oh my God, I guess my banana does what? I can stake it. I'm in there. I'm doing it. But when we try to explain, when you say that, and to us, it's simple. It's so simple to stake your Kong and earn banana, then you swap your banana, then eventually you turn it into wrap ETH or you know, USDC. To us, it's simple. But when we try to, you know, you have the world's best explainer, and some would argue that's what our job is. And we try to explain it to a normal person, they glaze over.
I mean, but that's how it's always been.
Disconnect.
It's always been that way. It's been that way with NFTs. It was that way with crypto. I mean, that's like,
it was that way with the internet when the internet first came out.
I mean, that's how it always is.
Still that way.
It is right now. It is.
Right
I know.
now,
That's
they're
what I'm saying.
a symbol of value. So why wouldn't you just want to sell something like that if you got into contact with it? Because I wouldn't risk anything like that as far as reputation. It would have to do something. Like, nobody buys a Tesla because it's pretty.
Oh no, they totally do.
Yeah, they definitely do.
It does some.
It's a status symbol. It's just like Deezy said, it's a status symbol. It really is.
It is a status symbol, but it also has some performance. Like, it does have some utility, right? So that's I think it's a mixed bag of both. And you're right. The masses don't care about a bunch of that stuff, but in time,
they might. In time, that's what I'm saying. They don't now for sure, but I think in time they probably will. You know.
Oh, let me ask y'all this. All right, so we're seeing the Bored Apes pump. We've seen the Mutant Apes pump. Now, what about these kennels? Arguably the ugliest, you know, I mean, they are the ugliest of them all, but they're also the cheapest. Do you think there's still upside for the Bored Ape Kennel Club?
Yes.
Probably, just because it's attached to that brand, you know?
Yeah.
All of it.
I mean, I think honestly, like we were talking about, volumes kind of coming back to that collection, and we'll probably see some kind of trickle down from, you know, like you said, the entire brand.
I have a thesis that I'm going to first share here. So the Bored Apes, they're the Bitcoin. The Mutant, you got the Ethereum, and then what's the last thing to pump? It's the meme tokens.
The meme tokens,
the S tokens. So the kennels are the shit tokens, basically.
They're the Shiba of NFTs in the Bored Ape universe. All right, I can buy that.
We're running out of time here, man, and this, I'll leave you guys with this. This is the way I see it for you guys watching out there. If you're getting in now to either of these collections, would you rather make a C-level salary from just holding a picture, or would you rather be Jimmy Fallon's exit liquidity? That's how I see it. But yeah, man, I want to thank you guys all for coming on the show today. Deezy, thank you for being here. Happy to have you for the first time on around the.
I was humbled
around the Metaverse
lineup.
We'll be back next Monday, man, for another great show. And for you guys watching out there, don't forget to check the description. Go and follow all these guys. Go and like their content and spread the message that, you know, NFTs are the big thing. The Metaverse is coming. And if you don't get on now, you're going to miss out. So this has been Around the Metaverse, man. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next week.
Peace.